Alright, today we are going to do 6-1 and we're talking about perimeter and area of rectangles and parallelograms. Alright, let's just compare the two, a rectangle and a parallelogram. Remember, a rectangle has two sets of parallel sides and creates a 90-degree angle in all corners. What I want you to take away from this is that in a rectangle, the sides are giving you the height of the object, and the bottom is your base. When looking at a parallelogram, we still have those two sets of parallel sides, but now we no longer have that 90-degree angle, so it's going to look a little different. When we look at the sides, we're just going to call those the sides, and our base is still going to be the same. But we need to create that 90-degree angle in a parallelogram like we do in a rectangle. So what we have to do is let's go start up here, and if we make a line down it, that's going to give you your height because that would create a 90-degree angle right there. So this is your height, which is what you're going to need when we find area. Alright, we need to get a definition down, and that is perimeter. And perimeter is going to be the distance around the outside of a figure. And what I like to think of is I think of a fence. When I want to fence in my backyard, then I need to find the perimeter. So think of a fence. And again, the key is the outside. So let's find the perimeter of this first parallelogram. So if I want to find the outside, to find the perimeter, we're going to add up all the sides. So let's start here. I have perimeter is going to equal 8, and I have two 8s. These sides are exactly the same, so we're going to do 8 plus 8. And then we also have another side of 10. So we have plus 10 plus 10. So we can simplify this. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16. 10 plus 10 is 20. So the perimeter equals 16 plus 20, which is 36 units. And that key is you cannot forget to put a units. So here, since they didn't give you centimeters or meters, you're just going to say units. Another way that you can find perimeter is you can do 2b plus 2h. And this is the way that I would prefer you to find it because this is more algebraically. So again, we can say that our base. So let's plug in what we know. We know that the perimeter is going to equal 2 and the base is 10, so 2 times 10 plus 2 times the height, which is 8. And let's see if we get the same answer. Well, 2 times 10, remember order of operations, we have to multiply first, which is 20, plus 2 times 8, which is 16, which should hopefully look familiar. So perimeter is again going to equal 36 units. And again, I want you to focus using on this equation. So let's try another one. Let's go ahead and try it using this example. So go ahead and find the perimeter, and I want you to use the equation that we just used in the last one. So I'm going to rewrite it for you. Remember, perimeter equals 2b plus 2h. So go ahead and try filling it in first. You should have came up with perimeter equals 2 times 11 plus 2 times 9. Okay, now see if you can solve it. You should have gotten perimeter equals 22 plus 18. So your final answer is perimeter equals 40 units. And again, do not forget that units. Alright, let's talk about area. And it's just the number of square units in a figure. The key part is in, so this is everything that's inside of a figure. And to find area, you're going to do your base times your height. Okay, so we want to find area, but first we have to graph these given vertices. So this is what you're going to be doing on your homework, so this is good practice to see it now. So if you have graph paper, go ahead and practice it. Remember, it goes x, comma, y, and our x is our horizontal and our y is our vertical. So we're going to go 2 to the left and down 1. So see if you can graph the other 3 on your own. Okay, after you've done that, you should see that you have created a parallelogram. So all we have to do is, if we count how many over from one point to the other, 1, 2, 3, 4, like we did with slope, this has a base of 4. Well, let's see if we can find what our height is by doing the same exact thing. We can go 1, 2, 3. Our height is 3. So our area, remember, is base times height, so let's just plug that in. Our base is 4 and our height is 3. So our area equals 12. Now, again, we have to include a units. So we're going to say units squared because we're multiplying these together. Alright, let's try another one, and I want to see if you can do this on your own. Again, I want you to find the area using these coordinate planes. Ignore this other box. So go ahead and start off by graphing. Once you've done so, you should have this figure created. Now this is not a rectangle, so we have a parallelogram. So I think the hardest job is to find your base and your height. So the base is easy. We are just going to count over these from one point to the next. Think of slope. It's the same thing. So once you've done that, you should have found 6. Now this is where it's different from the last one. Remember, the height of a parallelogram is not the side, but when we connect from the top to the bottom to create that 90-degree angle. So we have to think right here. So if we connect those, we have a height of 3. See if you can find the area. Alright, so you should have plugged in using your equation, base times height, so 6 times 3, and I got 18 units squared. Alright, what I want to do with this figure is I want to find the area and the perimeter of this picture. Now this looks a little different, so let's just start with perimeter. Now remember, to find perimeter, we can just add up all the sides. So I'm going to start with this side of 5. So I'm going to say perimeter equals 5 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3. Now this side is the same as this one, so we know that this is 3, so plus 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus 4. So now we just need to add them all up. So our perimeter is going to equal, I know that this is 7 and this is 7, so those together give me 14. And then this right here, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. And 6 plus 3 plus 4 is 13. And 9 plus 13 is 22. So 14 plus 22, so my perimeter equals 36 units. And don't forget that units part, very important, and what I will look for on your test and quiz. Alright, so area might be a little bit harder to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this figure here and I'm going to color code it and break it apart, so hopefully it's a little bit easier for you to see. Alright, so let's look at this object. This is the same object as before, but now it's just been broken into 3 different objects. We've gotten a rectangle here, and finally a rectangle down here. So it's now easier to see that area. And if you want to look at this also on page 282 in your textbook, if you want to look there, it might be easier to see the 2 figures together. But they told you that this was 5 and this is 2. and that the blue one had 5 and 3 and 6 and 3. And for area, all we need to do is find the base and the height. So let's go ahead and figure out the area. Well, here we know that we're going to have to do 5 times 2. Here, again, we have to add these all together. We're going to have to do 5 times 3. And then finally 6 times 3. So let's go ahead and simplify that. Well, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 5 times 3, which is 15, plus 6 times 3, which is 18. I know that this is 25, plus 18. So our area is going to be 43 units squared. Okay, from here the video is done, so now you can go ahead and do your exit slip.